So tonight we wanted to bring the developers and the building industry professionals together with the artist community to have a conversation about what do we need, what is going to make it possible for each site to incorporate arts into our built environment and into the space making practice. This project was created by a visionary like Ali Yousefi, who was a developer but had a vision to incorporate arts and the community into what he was doing with love and passion and working with artists to make this beautiful environment. So I think this space just allowed us to have this conversation in the truest sense and see an example of what's possible and hopefully try and inspire others to do the same.
How are you guys feeling tonight? Okay, I need that energy all night. How are you feeling tonight?
If we're not having the conversations, we don't know the spaces to collaborate, and then things don't happen. So I like to put myself in the middle of all of those places and like fill the gap in the ecosystem, because I see Sacramento and all the different spaces as like this big ecosystem. And so my job as like a convener is to create space for them to come together and to connect.
How do I make it make sense to incorporate art inside of these development projects?
From the moment this project went under construction, almost every single property around here has either been sold, redeveloped, or released because of this project. You ask all its property owners and say it's because of the Warehouse Artist Lofts. So they like the energy, the investments.
We see how artists create beautiful spaces and generate economic value for the people that they are doing their work on or in, or where the work is being included.
And some of it is economic, to be sure. But we've also had there's a lot of information. There's like a wide body of research around the role of the arts in public health, about the role in the arts in terms of helping people deal with trauma. Like in fact, if you're engaged in expressive art therapy, it's actually been found that if you can't get through a trauma, the engagement in an arts activity can actually create a new pathway around the trauma that allows you to get over the bridge. And there's real data behind this. So if you think about a much more expansive view of the value of the arts.
So I have this thought that what if artists could continue to have some ownership over their work and see some kind of return on that value over time. Like as long as their mural is there, as long as their sculpture is in that courtyard, they are getting some kind of like percentage value of the property as it grows in value.
But the thing that intrigued me was like more of a licensing approach. We license the art for a certain amount of time, lease it or whatnot to a developer or whatnot. That would change. I think that would be a workable model.
You know, for somebody like me who is a practicing professional artist, I do this full time. I have not worked like a secondary job in 15 years. I'm hustling constantly for work. So to be in a space that's conducive to my own practice, my studio practice, is needless to say, it's allowed me to sustain myself.
You know, great discussion about how things that artists can do to work with developers to reap that value. What are some of the things we can do about keeping artists in our community? And this is, perfect place, Warehouse Artist Lofts, because this is a perfect interconnection between artists and the built environment, not only because of the art that's here, because we have artists that live here, we're in an arts district. It is literally, I think, the epicenter of local art in the Sacramento community.
I do think the WAL sets a standard for sure, and I think it does so on a number of different fronts. I mean, just the partnership that created it, the partnership between CADA, the partnership with artists, the partnership with the developer, all of that stuff I think was really critical. And in that way, it's a model. That doesn't necessarily happen everywhere else.
That model is such a strong thing, and to see that it's almost been 10 years that it's been around, that's a powerful thing because it shows proof of concept. So WAL is pivotal. It's about this place that brings creatives together, gives them housing that they need, gives them space that they need to create, gives, creative entrepreneurs space to like have businesses below.
The whole conversation about that, like when you create this space for people, it becomes an anchor in a neighborhood for a whole lot of development that surrounds it. And I think there's a whole lot of vibrancy in this area. You can see it, you can feel it, and that's exciting. And we want more of that. We want everyone to experience that, whether you're in the center in the city, whether you're in South Sacramento, you're in North Sacramento, everyone should have the opportunity to experience that.
I've been involved in the Warehouse Artist Lofts from its earliest conception, but I miss my friend and the developer of this project, Ali. I think he would have been super proud of how this community has taken off. It's sad that we don't have him here because I think because of the success of this project, because of the impact it's had on the community, I think he would have worked really hard to do another one and try to continue what he did here and put it somewhere else, or maybe even further along the street, because when we come into places that are redeveloped, we tend to lose our artists and they go other places, and we don't want that to happen. We want them to have a place here.
And just like Jose said in the panel, like when this opened up for applications, like the line was around the block. And that just goes to show you creative thinking, outside of the box thinking, doing something different, and doing it for a specific community works wonders.
Living here consistently since the beginning, maybe the first word that comes to mind is just like gratitude. Always and forever, gratitude for the opportunity to be here in this communal incubator of a space. I think everybody certainly is excited to get to finally be inside this like fishbowl, that has been so widely talked about. So, the pleasant surprise, I think, for people is the living and working component. So walking through my living room and the bedrooms into my workspace has been kind of, I think, eye-opening for some people. It's like, okay, this is, his livelihood right here. So because I am able to work at this capacity full-time, I hope that with like younger artists, artists that are starting off, that I can be sort of a source of inspiration and they see it tangibly. We just meet up in the hallway. It's like, what's up? And it's an informal way to get to know everybody from different walks, with different stories and ambitions that are like mine. And so, and for me, that's a reminder of what the struggle is, especially when you're starting off trying to figure some shit out. So my gratitude is in like being reminded how this is an ongoing process. And living here, for me, it's just the biggest measure of gratitude, like forever and always.